it starts getting interesting with our multi-step inequalities. And we're going to expand a lot. We're going to throw the distributive property, all kinds of things at you, and we got a couple new things to look at here. So we still follow our same rules, our inverse operations. So I want to get my W by itself here. And to do that, I can't touch that minus 2 that's connected to it because it's being multiplied to the W. So I look at the 10, so I got to get rid of the 10 first. Well, the opposite or the inverse of a positive 10 would be a negative 10. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. So we're left with 13 is greater than or equal to, right? Just drop your sign down. That's gone. And don't forget that's a negative 2W. Do not forget to bring your minus sign down. Well, now if we look, we're multiplying by a negative 2 with the W, right? Negative 2W. So the inverse is to divide by a negative 2. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. And be careful. Remember, if you divide or multiply by a negative on both sides, what happens to your symbol? It flips. Okay, so I got to flip my symbol. I got to reverse my symbol. Well, 13 divided by negative 2 is a negative 6.5 or a negative 6.5. Yeah, however you want to write that. And W. And just remember, always put your variable first. It just helps just in case you have to graph it. So I'm going to say W is greater than or equal to negative 6.5. And there we go. So just applying the rules that we already know. Well, taking a look here. Now it's going back to our equations that we solved before. Remember, you always have to simplify each side of the symbol. So simplify each side. I got to simplify this left side. So we got to go ahead and distribute my 6. So I got 6 times 5z, which is 30z. And then 6 times negative 3, which is a negative 18. Right? 6 times negative 3, negative 18. Bring my symbol down, and 36z. Well, I have a variable on both sides, so let's get it to one side. Well, I always like to get rid of the smaller variable. So 30z, to get rid of that, I have to bring in a negative z, or a minus 30z. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. And those cancel. Don't forget to bring down your negative with your negative 18, less than or equal to 6z. And if we look, now my variable's on the right side. We're multiplying by 6. The inverse is to divide by 6. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. And we have a negative 3 is less than or equal to z, right? I divide by a positive, so my sign stays the same. And let's go ahead and get my z out front. I'm going to put my little dash so I know it's a z and not a 2. Keep the opening by the z. Z is greater than or equal to negative 3. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Just going through our steps. Simplify first. Get your variable to one side, and then go ahead and get it by itself. Oh, it's getting nastier here. It looks like I got both sides to simplify. Let's look at the left side first. We got to go 2 times h, and then 2 times a positive 6, which is a positive 12. Bring my symbol down. Negative 3 times 8 is a negative 24. Negative 3 times a negative h is a positive 3h. Right? Negative times a negative is a positive. Well, let's go ahead and get our variable to one side. So let's think about what h we want to move. I like to move the smaller h. So I'm going to move the 2h to get rid of it. I need a negative 2h or a minus 2h. Whatever I do to one side, do to the other. And I have to put it right below the other h term. So now let's simplify. The 2h's are gone here in the negative 2h. So I bring down my plus 12. Bring down my greater than sign. Bring down my negative 24, and 3h minus 2h is really a positive 1h, but we never write that 1, because 1 times h is just h. So 3h minus 2h just leaves me with 1h. So I just leave that h there. And lastly, to get h by itself, got to get rid of that negative 24. Well, the inverse is to add 24. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. There we go. 26 is greater than h, and make sure put the h first, just get used to that. Keep the point to the h, and 26. Done. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Couple new things here now. Couple new things. Oh yeah, just take your time with this. Deal with one side at a time when you simplify. So I'm looking at the left side first. I'm going to deal with my distributing right away, because that's multiplying. So I go negative 7 times k, negative 7k, negative 7 times 4, negative 28. And let's go ahead and bring down our plus 11k. There we go. Bring down my inequality. Looking at the right side. Can't do anything with this 8k right now, so I just bring it down. Now I'm going to distribute a negative 2. A negative 2. Remember, always use the sign that's in front. So negative 2 times 2k is a negative 4k. And negative 2 times 1 is a negative 2. So don't forget to bring that negative sign when you distribute. All right. I still have some simplifying to do, don't I? Let's take a look at the left side. I have a negative 7k and an 11k. Well, if I combine those two, I'm left with a positive 4k. And I still have my minus 28 to bring down. All right, so combine those, bring that minus 28 down. Let's simplify the right side. 8k minus 4k, left with the 4k. Bring my minus 2 down. Oh boy, we should be noticing something. I have a 4k on each side. Well, let's see what happens here. If I subtract 4k from both sides, what's left? Well, I have negative 28 is greater than or equal to negative 2. Well, to figure out what my solution is here, I have to take a look. Is negative 28 greater than or equal to negative 2? No way. This is not true. That is not the case. So negative 28 is not greater than or equal to negative 2. So what do you think? Is there going to be a solution for k here? Nope, there's no solution. There's nothing I could put in for k in my original inequality to make this true. So no solution. I can also put the symbol for the empty set, okay, a little 0 with a slash through it. That also means there's no solution. Okay, either way. So just look at your inequality in the end. Did this make sense? No, it did not, so there's no solution. There's no solution. All right, let's look at the other situation now. I'm kind of fly through this here. So I'm distributing 2 times 4r is 8r. 2 times 3 is 6. Bring my inequality down. Can't use my 22 yet. 8 times r is a positive 8r. 8 times negative 2 is a negative 16. There's one thing I can simplify on the right side. So 8r plus 6 is less than or equal to. Well, I can simplify the 22 and the negative 16, which gives me a positive 6. So 6 plus 8r. Well, if I look, both sides are exactly the same, aren't they right now? Well, let's keep simplifying. Okay, I'm gonna get my r's to one side. So I'll subtract an 8r, subtract an 8r. Gone. 6 is less than or equal to 6. So just because they're the same, my inequality still has to make sense. So does this make sense? Is 6 less than or equal to 6? Yes, that is true. So that means every single number I place in for r, so I could put like a 5 in for r, I could put a negative 12 in for, I could put in any number in for r and it'll work. So what do we say when every single number works? We say all real numbers. All real numbers. Very good. Very good. Okay, so just be careful. Take your time, do your inverse operations. Just make sure, always check your inequality at the end in case it doesn't actually solve for that variable.